In the Season 9, Episode 3 of Sistas, it's about to be tested like never before. Lives are hanging by a thread, friendships are breaking under the weight of blame, and secrets buried deep are clawing their way to the surface. This is not just another episode, it's a turning point where survival, justice, and love collide in ways no one is ready for. Episode 3, titled Having Faith, takes us directly into the aftermath of chaos. Karen is still fighting for her life, and her newborn's survival is uncertain. The trailer hints at hospital monitors, tense faces, and prayers whispered under breath. But behind all of this, the question remains, will faith be enough to carry them through? Karen's surgery is not just a medical procedure, it's an emotional storm where each second feels like a lifetime. While the world watches the machines beep, her sisters are forced to reckon with their own role in the tragedy. Fatima, still seething from what she witnessed in the hospital, carries a fire that is impossible to ignore. She is not just Karen's friend, she is her shield, and her anger is directed at a system that dismissed Karen's pain. The trailer teases Fatima stepping into a role we haven't seen before, a fighter ready to turn grief into justice. Meanwhile, Zach's raw emotions reach boiling point. His silence in Episode 2 breaks into explosive words in Episode 3, and the fallout threatens to tear the group apart. He points fingers, not at strangers, but at the very people who stood beside him, Fatima and Sabrina. His grief turns to rage, and in his rage, the truth slips out. Lingering feelings for Karen, feelings that complicate every single bond in the circle. This outburst becomes more than just grief. It becomes confession, and confession becomes conflict. As this plays out, the trailer subtly reminds us that the hospital is not just a setting, it is a villain. Policies, procedures, and hidden corruption rise into the spotlight. Andy, digging deeper than ever before, uncovers whispers of malpractice tied to Dr. Cruz. Who is this man, and why does his name spark fear? Episode 3 positions him as more than just a doctor. He could be the key to unlocking a pattern of neglect, a dark history buried in hospital files. Andy's hesitation from Episode 2 suddenly makes sense. She's been holding cards no one else sees, and Episode 3 finally shows the weight of that knowledge. This is not just a fight for Karen's life. It's a battle for truth, one that pulls the sisterhood into dangerous territory where law, love, and loyalty are all tested. And even as lawsuits loom and justice takes shape, the heart of Sistas still beats with complicated love. The trailer promises tender moments, stolen glances, and romances born out of trauma. Karen and Zach may share a fragile encounter if she wakes. Andy could find herself drawn to an unexpected ally. And Sabrina's search for relief may push her into arms that only bring temporary peace. Every choice in Episode 3 feels like it will echo for the rest of the season, making Having Faith not just a title, but a challenge for the characters and for us as viewers. The trailer sets the stage for a storm within the sisterhood. What began as a united front is now splintering into fragile pieces, and Episode 3 digs deep into the cracks. Zach's fury does more than unleash his grief. It reopens old wounds. When he blames Fatima and Sabrina for not reaching Karen in time, his words cut sharper than a knife. It isn't just about one night, it's about years of unresolved tension, buried resentments, and unspoken truths that now erupt like fire. His confession about still having feelings for Karen doesn't land as a soft whisper. It crashes into the group like thunder, leaving Fatima staring at him not as a partner, but as a stranger she no longer recognizes. This moment, raw and unfiltered, could permanently shift the power dynamics of the sisterhood, setting off ripples that carry through the entire season. Fatima, already balancing her rage at the hospital, now faces the betrayal of love, two wars colliding inside her at once. The trailer gives just enough to suggest that she won't stay silent. She's a lawyer, a fighter, and in Episode 3, she begins drawing her battle lines. She isn't only fighting for Karen's justice in court, she's fighting for her place in this fractured circle of friends, a place that feels more threatened with every passing scene. Meanwhile, Andy's shadowy investigation into Dr. Cruz begins to unravel threads no one expected. The trailer hints at hushed conversations, dark files, and whispered warnings, secrets so heavy they could shatter reputations. If Andy exposes the truth, she risks burning bridges not only with the hospital, but also with powerful people connected to Cruz's past. This is where Episode 3 escalates from personal drama to systemic war. The sisterhood isn't just battling grief and heartbreak, they're stepping into the dangerous waters of malpractice, cover-ups, and corruption. And yet, amidst all this darkness, the trailer doesn't let us forget the emotional core of Sistas. There are fleeting moments where love tries to survive the chaos. Karen's fragile condition becomes more than a medical fight. It's a mirror of every character's emotional survival. Will Zach's outburst be the breaking point or the catalyst for change? Will Andy's secrets fracture trust beyond repair, or will they save Karen and countless others? Will Fatima's fire consume her relationships, or will it transform her into the voice of justice the sisterhood needs? The tension in episode 3 lies not in one single answer, but in the uncertainty of all of them. Every second feels like standing on a knife's edge, waiting to see which way the blade falls. That is the heartbeat of this trailer. Unpredictable, unforgiving, and unforgettable. Episode 3 doesn't just stop at emotional explosions, it sharpens its focus on the hospital, transforming it into the season's true villain. The trailer plants the seeds of a battle that goes far beyond Karen's hospital bed. We see the beginnings of a lawsuit, the murmurs of legal action, and the faces of administrators who know their careers could crumble if the truth is exposed. The hospital boardroom becomes as tense as any courtroom, and it's here where the stakes are doubled. Fatima, carrying both legal expertise and personal rage, steps into the spotlight as the one voice unafraid to challenge the system. But she's not alone. Andy, hesitant at first, begins to show her own cards, digging into Cruz's shadowy past. The trailer suggests Andy has uncovered a trail of malpractice complaints, ignored warnings, and possibly even cover-ups that tie directly into Karen's case. This revelation reframes the entire tragedy. Karen's near-death experience isn't an isolated mistake, it's part of a much larger pattern. Suddenly, the story is no longer about one woman's pain, but about countless women failed by the same institution. And the tension only builds when whispers spread that the new black doctor, the one who dared to speak up for Karen, may now be facing retaliation. The idea that even allies inside the hospital are at risk adds a dangerous edge to the narrative. This isn't just a fight for justice, it's a fight against a machine determined to silence dissent. While all of this unfolds, emotions outside the hospital are just as combustible. Zach's outburst continues to echo, rattling both Karen's recovery and Fatima's sense of loyalty. Sabrina, struggling to cope, leans into her wild side in ways that look thrilling on the surface, but reveal a desperate need for escape underneath. A fling may seem like fun, but in the context of grief, it carries the weight of running from pain instead of facing it. And yet, in typical Sistas fashion, even the smallest romantic threads have power, because they remind us that love, flawed and messy, is still at the heart of every fight. The trailer leaves viewers wondering not just who will survive the battles ahead, but who will still stand beside each other when the dust clears. Episode 3 promises that nothing will return to normal. Every revelation, every choice, every broken bond will carry consequences that define the rest of the season. The heart of Episode 3 beats inside the hospital room where Karen's fate still hangs in the balance. The trailer doesn't confirm her recovery, and that silence is what builds the suspense. Viewers are left to wonder if she will wake up stable, or if the knife's edge she's been balancing on will tilt the other way. This uncertainty is deliberate, because Karen's survival isn't the only story. It's the spark that ignites everything else. If she survives, the road ahead isn't easy. Episode 3 teases the reality of long-term complications, fertility questions, emotional trauma, and the deep scars of systemic neglect that don't heal with a simple bandage. Her body may heal, but her spirit, her relationships, and her trust in the very system meant to protect her remain wounded. This becomes the emotional anchor of the episode. Around her, the sisterhood struggles to keep their unity, but fractures are now too wide to ignore. Fatima's anger, Zach's confession, Andy's secrets, and Sabrina's desperate coping mechanisms swirl together, each pushing the group further apart. Episode 3 doesn't portray them as unbreakable. It dares to show what happens when even the strongest bonds are tested by unbearable pressure. And yet, the trailer also teases small, fragile moments of hope. A tender glance between Zach and Karen, if she's conscious enough, could reveal that their connection isn't entirely gone. For Fatima, the possibility of standing as Karen's legal champion may be the one thing that keeps her grounded, even as her personal life teeters on collapse. For Andy, the pursuit of truth becomes more than just a case. It's her way of proving her loyalty to the sisterhood, even if her methods force her into dangerous territory. And for Sabrina, the fleeting fling hinted in the trailer could be more than just wild behavior. It may be the painful mirror that forces her to confront her own brokenness. What makes this episode so gripping is not knowing where the balance will land. Will Faith carry them through, or will the weight of betrayal, grief, and injustice crush them from the inside out? Episode 3 refuses to give easy answers, leaving every storyline suspended in a tension that demands to be resolved. This is the kind of storytelling that turns a simple hospital drama into something bigger. A battle for survival, for justice, and for the very soul of the sisterhood. The closing beats of the trailer for Episode 3 leave us with more questions than answers, and that's exactly the power of this moment in the season. The lawsuit, hinted at in fragments of dialogue and tense stares, is no longer just an idea. It's a storm forming on the horizon. Fatima and Andy stand at the center of it, each carrying pieces of truth that could dismantle the hospital's reputation and expose years of malpractice. But fighting a system this large comes with consequences, and the trailer doesn't shy away from showing the danger. Whispers of retaliation against the new black doctor who dared to speak up echo a chilling truth. This isn't just about Karen's suffering, it's about silencing anyone who tries to shine a light on the corruption. The stakes rise from personal pain to a public reckoning, positioning Episode 3 as the first step in a battle that could define the entire season. And yet, amidst the legal war and the looming threat of exposure, the trailer ensures we don't forget the heartache at the center. Karen's fragile state remains uncertain, Zach's confession threatens to rip the group apart, and the sisterhood faces a test they may not all survive together. Sabrina's escape into fleeting romance highlights just how desperate each character is to find relief, even in the wrong places. Andy's discoveries about Dr. Cruz shake the foundations of her loyalty, and Fatima's fire blazes hotter with every injustice she witnesses. Every storyline is stretched to its breaking point, and viewers are left clutching the question, who will still stand when the smoke clears? Episode 3 doesn't just promise drama, it promises transformation. Faith in this world isn't just about prayer or hope. It's about trusting the people who stand beside you when everything else is falling apart. But with lies unraveling, betrayals confessed, and the shadow of justice looming over them all, that faith is the hardest thing to hold on to. As the trailer fades, the only certainty is that nothing will be the same. Episode 3 is not just another chapter. It is the moment that reshapes the entire season, forcing every character to confront who they are, what they've lost, and what they're willing to fight for.